Now we're going to our third speaker, Filip. So Filip is the producer of the Skopje Light Art District, the light festival of the capital city of North Macedonia. And Skopje Light Art District had its third edition this year in 2020, when a lot of other festivals had to adapt or cancel. So we're just really excited to have you here, Filip, and hear about your festival and your projects.
Hi to everyone. Good morning. Well, recently it was just Macedonia. Around 30 years ago, it was part of Yugoslavia. Around 130 years ago, it was a part of the Ottoman Empire. And around 500-600 years ago, it was a part of the Byzantine Empire. Just because of this, Skopje has been an intersection of many different influences. Modern day Skopje has around 700,000 inhabitants. And it has like a lot of various ethnicities and religions. And modern day Skopje is still searching for its own identity in modern day Europe. In 963, Skopje was hit by a devastating earthquake. And after the earthquake, 87 countries from all around the world sent some type of aid and helped Skopje to be rebuilt from its ashes. And until today, Skopje remains as a symbol of world solidarity. In around 2010, a previous government had come up with a plan to make a complete makeover over the center of the city. So that at that time, a lot of older government buildings were made, the facades were reconstructed in a neoclassical and Baroque makeover. And this is another type of, as we consider in Skopje, this was like the second earthquake in Skopje, but this time it was man-made to make a complete makeover over the city. So the idea behind how the Skopje Light Art District started, we had the city was making surveys about how much people were going to museums and art exhibitions. And it was found out that only 17% of the people throughout the calendar year would visit a museum or an art exhibition, which we thought it's very low. And we were contemplating how to make an open event and take the art outside to the public. So this was at this point we were contemplating like what to do. And since light festivals were very popular around Europe at that time, we were thinking and contemplating how to proceed with the Light Festival. And this happened in parallel to one project or an initiative that Skopje was part of. This was the ROCK project, which is a project part of the European Union Horizon 2020 program. And Skopje with Lyon and 8 other cities were merged in this project. And at this time, we basically used some of the experience of Lyon. And one of the first meetings that once we were starting, we said we're going to make a light festival. We had a visit from now the late Jean-François Jurevich. And together at this meeting, we kind of set up the foundations for what is today's Skopje Light Art District. So it happened at that time. We said the goals of the festivals are going to be to promote the cultural heritage, to increase tourism in the city, and as I said before, to introduce art in public spaces, to promote light art among young and local artists, and to use it as a basis, as a foundation of the bid for Skopje European Capital of Culture for 2028. So the first edition, we decided, and this was also some tips from Jean-François, it was not to go big and to go all over the city, but to choose a small area. And we decided to use the Old Bazaar, which is kind of a magical place in the town, where you feel like you're in the 1500s if you walk around. And so basically we decided to use this small part of town to put let's say some 15 installations in the first year. And we also decided to put filters on the city lighting. So we kind of put the path where like all the light arts are going to be there. But because this was like the first time especially for like the inhabitants of this part of town, and also because there are a lot of small shops, it was very weird to the locals. So basically they started saying, because we put magenta filters, so it was like a red lightning, and they were thinking like, what's going to be? Are they making a red light district in the city? So it was kind of an interesting part. But after the whole light festival started, they were very pleased, and because a lot of people came and saw the festival. Well, yeah, another thing why we kind of chose to have a light festival is to put Skopje on the city map with other innovative cities, as to have our own identity. For the first year, it was mostly we had the invitations sent by our art director, which is Alexandra Stratimirovic Dagefeld. She's a light artist from Sweden. Some of you may know her. And basically the first, even though we had a public call for applicants, it was basically most of the artists were there by invites. And also the first edition of the festival, it was like we made it as a part of the White Night, and we had a mapping on a building, which was at that time something new for the city and very interesting to the locals. And this the first year festival, we had around 30,000 visitors. So the second edition, we kind of managed to get some larger budget. So we extended the route. We started again in the old town, in the old bazaar, but we continued around the riverbank, and we ended up in the city park, which is a very central area of the city. So we had we had an open call where we had like a larger number of applicants, and since it was a very successful first edition, we decided to move away from the White Night and make it a specific. We changed the dates, and we made Skopje Light Art District its own festival. And again, we had a decently successful festival. And for the first time, since the mapping contest, since the mapping of the first year was very successful, we decided to have a mapping contest as a part of the festival. This was also very interesting for the locals, since after the first year, the second year they would have seen like different type of artists making their artworks on the same building. And we named the prize Zlatko Slavensky, which is one of the pioneers in art mapping. He before the festival took place, passed away, so we gave the award in his honor. And for the first time in the second edition, we managed to make phone applications for an applicant. And it was interesting that we made the public to vote on the phone applications during the contest, which was also received very well by the public. And we managed to have, from like 30,000, we managed to grow to like 50,000 visitors. So yeah, 2020 was coming, and for the first time we made an open call about the beginning of the year, and we had a great number of applicants, around 200. So this is like something new, so we could like choose a lot from applicants. And we set up the whole thing to be held in May, but as in March things started closing down, and we had the quarantine and the COVID pandemic, we decided to postpone it indefinitely. But since we had like the whole program set up, most of the program set up, we decided that we're going to wait for a moment where we can, you know, make the festivals. At some point during the early summer, the government came up with some protocols for open air festivals, and all those protocols were in line with what we wanted to do. So basically, we said we're going to have the festival at the end of August, which was also, Skopje is known to have like very hot weather on end of August. So we thought it was best. These are the best dates for the festivals to take place, since in the summertime the virus was not spreading so much and stuff. So we decided to have the festival at end of summer. And for the first time, for this third edition, this was set up even early. We said we're going to have a green theme for the festival. So basically, all the installations were supposed to have some type of a green message, or something, you know, with stopping pollution and sustainable growth of the environment and stuff like that. So this time our festival was we needed to get, because we had like a lot of unpredictable situations, so it was a very challenging thing to do this festival. So what we kind of did, we told all the artists that were supposed to be a part of our festival that you know, they will still be a part of the festival, but due to travel restrictions and other things, for them not to come in Skopje and be present, but just to send their artworks. So we had a decent response from all the applicants, from all the light works that we wanted to have. And so we started kind of like making arrangements for the transportation of the works and how we're going to set up. And so this was also very interesting, since we had some paperwork problems, because we had, you know, because of the pandemic, like a lot of government bureaucratic institutions were not working, or they were working with the slower pace. So we basically had the artwork coming at the day of the festival. So we were mounting in the morning and having the installation ready at night. And this was very interesting and very challenging. And also, yeah, I would like to, you know, express it was very interesting, since we had like our volunteers, and they were basically, our volunteers were working with the artists, and they were mounting and setting up the installations over WhatsApp and showing, is this good, or is this, should we move it here and there? So this was especially for the foreign artists. But at this festival we had also a lot of domestic artists, since as the festival grew from year to year, we have a lot of domestic artists applying for the festival. So yeah, considering all these situations, we had a very successful festival. Around 70,000 people showed up. We had people, even though there were no, you know, masks were not obligatory to be worn. Like a lot of people were distancing. A lot of people had their masks on, and since they were before, like, you know, for 3-4 months they were quarantined at home, they were like very eager to see the light works, and they had a amazing stroll around our imaginary path, and they had a lot of fun at the festival. So considering everything, the festival has been growing since its inauguration in 2018. We were very thankful that we can, you know, collaborate with a lot of other festivals, as it is also this light forum with Lyon, and all the other festivals, and I would like to appreciate like what you're doing. And it's a great experience, especially for young festivals, to learn a little bit more from the festivals that have been going on for the last 10, 15, 20 years and stuff. So I'd like to thank you all. And yes, this is me, this is us. So whatever you want, it's over there. And thank you.
Thank you, Filip, for your presentation. It's, yesterday we had the session on Light Festival adapting and trying to recreate, and so this is a great addition to how a festival can adapt to this very weird situation that we're in right now. We have a few questions in the chat box. First, our very own Jessica is asking, do any of the light artworks that have been in the festival, have any of them become a permanent part of the public space?
Well, even last year we started to do something like this, and we have one artwork that is a part of the public space, still from 2019 edition. It was also like part of the path in even this year. So, and we had another installation, which was it was a writing shown on the river bridge, which we wanted to leave there, but because it's a very fragile installation, a lot of people are passing by, we had problems there. But now we're talking with the city to put it on another bridge, which is not which is very high, and it's a train bridge, so no one can get a hold of it, so it's going to be able to stand. But yes, we are contemplating, we are thinking, to have more and more installations that are going to be, at least stay at least for a year.
Okay, thank you. We had a question from Heike. I think you've answered some of it about the response from citizens from this year's edition. Do you think they appreciate it more than usual?
Yeah, I see it. It was very difficult. I mean, I wasn't I wasn't part of it, but what people were volunteers and people that were working with the artists, they're telling me it was very difficult, since we had like, for example, like the artists could not see the location, so they were basically on WhatsApp you don't have like 3D. You're like looking, so you can put this here, or like, okay, so this won't work there, so okay, you can go and buy some other materials that can be set up. So it was challenging, but at the end of the day it was worth it. It paid out. I mean, we managed to have a festival during a pandemic without the artists coming here. So, and it was a successful edition by the inhabitants, the participants that were there. They said, all of them said it was a successful edition, and maybe it was the most successful of the 2 editions before. So
it's great. Thank you. It's wonderful indeed. Just a question from Heike Bezir. How many light art projects do you realize during the festival?
So this year, I think it's usually between 15 and 20. Depends on the year. Depends on what kind of projects. If we don't consider the mapping contest, where we have like 5 or like more applicants, yeah, it's around. I think this year there were 18. Last year there were around 17. The year before there were 16. But this is the number, between 15 and 20 projects, mostly.
Okay, great. Thank you.